Hello, my programmers. This is DeQuarris Chadwick, and I'm bringing you another C++ tutorial, and this is the second one in the series. And so we should just get into this. So far, I just pressed F9 because I'm using fraps. So I'm just gonna save this and as test.cpp. All right. So there's nothing to compile. Stop it. All right. Yeah, of course there is. So, let me take off this right here. That's, like, not important. Alright, so in this tutorial, what we're doing is we're going to be learning math operators, variables, and output. And, so, first we're gonna learn, standard output, because since we already started input. So we're gonna start. How we're gonna start is we're gonna start by including and using namespace std and declaring your main function. And you guys should already know how to do that. And if you don't, I highly recommend my last video. So as you can see, I am including and using namespace std, which means using the standard library. And then I'm declaring my main function. Alright, and I'll just bring that down like that. Alright, so we're gonna learn the standard output, and what we learned last time was input, and your guys' homework was to print this fish tastes good to the screen. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do that right now, and you guys can check your code to see if it was correct. And yeah. All right. So I think it's my fish. My fish tastes good. All right. And I'm gonna put an exclamation mark because it's saying my fish tastes good, because we want the player to know that. We want the user to know that. So so what we're gonna do is we're gonna now return 0. All right. So when it compiles, it should say this fish tastes good. So we're compiling. Test. Hold on. Return 0. Expected error. Oh, sorry. Error. Alright. So it's compiling, it's linking. Whenever it says linking, it's always good. Alright, so we're gonna wait for this console. Cause when I'm using fraps, it takes a long time. Up. Hold on. cn.get. It blinked again. Just put in cn.get again. Alright. Yeah, here we go. My fish tastes good. Now, in previous tutorial, I said add in cstdlib, and I was wrong. I was extremely wrong. cstdlib does not contain cn.get. Don't do that. And I mean, including cstdlib would be I mean, it would help when you're I mean, it has a lot of libraries that we're gonna learn about cstdlib later, but it's not necessary to use cn.get. That's all I'm saying. So right now we have entered my fish tastes good. We have printed my fish tastes good to the screen. So now the question asks, how would we get input from the player and from the how would we get input from the user? And that's easy. But before we do that, we're gonna learn variables. And what variables are they're a way to contain a value inside of a word that you create. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually initiate a variable. And our first variable that we're gonna learn is int. Int stands for integer. It's any number. It's any number, any whole number that's a negative or a positive. So 1, 2, -1, and -2 are all integers. So we're making an integer. But what do we want to name our integer? Let's name our integer user input. All right. And so basically what we're telling this is saying user input is going to be a number. And usually when you're using when you're declaring a variable, sometimes you could either enter the value of the variable right there, like I can make user input 10, or you can leave it blank, and that's saying to the compiler, this has not been done yet. Wait until this has been initiated. Wait until this is given a value to really use it. So int user input is now up there. Now to get user input, we basically, when you see how it in line number 9 it says cin.get. Cin is input. Cin, it means console input, just like cout means console output. And so to get input would be almost exactly different. Polar opposite of doing cout on cout. So we're gonna type in cin, and instead of the 2 less than signs, we're gonna have 2 greater than signs. And then we're putting in what we want the user is inputting to, because we can't just have nothing that he's inputting to, because then he's not inputting anything. So we want him to put into user input. All right. Now that we have the user to input into user input, how would we have this affect the program? Because I know that it's stupid to just input something and the program automatically ends. So what would we want to do? And what we want for the program to do. So we're gonna have cout, and then there's something that you could there's something awesome that you can do with cout too. You can print to the screen a variable, and you can do this with any variable. You can do this with any variable, and you can add strings to it. So you can say cout. I like the number, and then you would put 2 greater than signs after that, and to add it to the to that string right there. And I like the number blank, and then what we'll do is we'll add a period. All right. And then so what this will do is this will get your number, and it'll print it to the screen. After it prints to the screen, I like the number. And as you can see, I put a space after I like the number, because it's not going to put the space for you. You have to put the space for yourself. So I like the number, space, user input. And when some people, what they will do is they'll actually use the variable over and over again, and that's what variables are for. Variables are for that, so that you don't have to keep remembering that number, and you don't have to, and it's easier to update that number based on the name. I mean, you could have the number 1,000,000, and instead of actually putting 1,000,000,000, yeah, I think that's great. Instead of putting that, you can just put mil as its variable. There is some things that don't work though. Like when you're trying to make a variable, and that variable name is already a name of a function or something that's already inside the program, it's not gonna look at it as a variable. It's actually gonna throw out a gigantic error and say, this, what are you doing? If I put int and I put then the variable name is int, it's gonna throw out an error, and it's gonna say first of all there are 2 ints right there, and second of all an int can't declare itself really. I mean, that's stupid. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have user input. user. All right. Okay, so we have int, and we have user input, and we have, so what we're going to do is we're going to run this program. Yeah, there shouldn't be anything. So my fish tastes good, and then we're going to put in a number. What number are we going to put in? We're going to put in 12, the number 12. And as you can see on the console, it says 12. And we're going to enter it, and it says, I like the number 12, and it blinks off because of, I pushed the enter button, and then seeing.get is being a butthole right now. But let me try to FYI, what I just did for the seeing.get, I just made it a comment. To make a comment, you use 2 forward slashes or a forward slash star, and then star, then forward slash, and then that means close. You can type in whatever you want, and as long as you're behind the star, it'll work. Let's try not to make everything. All right. And what I'm basically doing for that seeing.get is I'm trying to see what would happen if I would screw seeing.get. Let's put in 12 again, and I like the number. Yeah, it does that again. All right. So let's stop that one more time. As you can see, my fish tastes good. 12 is the number, and I like the number 12. It really, I guess you guys should pause the wait. Pause the video. Yeah, okay. Pause the video and make sure that it's working. And you guys are doing this. You guys should be doing this anyway by yourself, for yourself, so you guys would see that it display the number. So so we can put in the number, and that's all fine and dandy. But what else can we do with a variable like that? And we could add, subtract, divide, and I forgot the name of it. But we could do that. We could do all these. We can do all these math operators with this. And so, well, let's do this. Let's put user. What we're doing now. Input. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna assign it a new name. We're gonna assign it a new number, and all we have to do really is put an equal sign and put what we're assigning it as. And also, like, we can assign it as the number 0. But something that's also awesome is that we can use math operators. We can use 14 divided by 7, and then it'll equal 2. User input would equal 2, and then what we'll do is we'll see out user input, and it'll print out the number 2. I'm probably run 12, and as you can see, it printed out the number 2, and it printed out it fast. So it prints out number 2, and that's really cool and all. But yeah, and so we can do all this. And something awesome that I've done in the past is I made a program to do my homework for me, and I think that I thought that was really cool for myself, because basically I made an algorithm for a regular equation to find the intersects of 2 lines, and you can't really put an equation inside of a compiler and expect it to work, because it won't know what these random variables mean. So what I had to do was I had to make an algorithm so that it'll find the number that the equation was talking about. And I did that, and guess what? I got hundreds on my homework. But a lot of people say that that's cheating, but I don't call it as cheating, because I am breaking down that equation, and I am breaking it down really far down, so far that I can bend it and make it work inside of a computer that only reads binary code. And that's what you can do also, and you can do that with these. All I knew at that time was how to output to the screen, how to have user input, and how to make add and subtract numbers, and that's all I really knew how to do. And then that's what happened. I made that program. and now I can basically do that homework anytime I want. But I'm out of that class now, and like I'll do that homework again. So now that we have that we can have output to the screen, um, there's also there's also different types of initiators. Yeah, and variable types. I meant int isn't just the only variable type. There's a such thing as a float. A float, and we're actually gonna get into more variable names later. I just want to cover float because it's a number just like int. And what float is your decimal numbers. And what float does, well, it's a decimal number, and float, it allows you to go into a decimal, and that's what I use to do the program. I didn't use an int because an int doesn't show a decimal, and at that moment I was in Algebra 1 class, and they were using a lot of decimals, so the best way is to use the decimal. And I used the decimal, and I used float. Float, what it shows is if you was equaling 3 to float, it wouldn't say user input equals 3. It would say user input equals 3.0. So that means user input is allowed to be 0.3, 0.3, and that's the same. And you can't do that as an int. That's impossible to do it as an int. It'll give you an error because it wouldn't give you an error. It actually round to the nearest whole number, and so it would be really weird with that. What do we have next? So we have math operators. Okay, so we have division. Let's take this. We have division. What about addition? Addition works too. Addition works the same. Let's 12, and that's 21. Yeah, 21, and it showed on the screen. And then we have subtraction. That's 7. And we also have something that is the modulator module. That's what it's called. Module. It's the module sign. And what the module does is, when you're dividing two numbers, the two numbers have a remainder, and that remainder is what the module takes. It takes it as a value. And so right now, when these two numbers divide, it will not have a remainder because these divide evenly. But if I put 15, oh, not 115. If I put 15, then the remainder, and then it'll take the remainder of the number, and it should be 1. Yeah, 1. It'll be 1 because it's dividing the two numbers. And in those two numbers, it just scratches what they equal to, and then it takes the remainder. And that's what you do in division class. That's what you do when doing long division, is you have a remainder. And this works a lot. And this actually works with you guys with a homework that I have in around 2 episodes for you guys. It works very well with that. And I'm gonna wrap up with I'm gonna wrap up and then after I wrap up, I'm gonna tell you guys a quick story, and you guys can comment on how better I could have used it and done with the situation. So we went over our int main, our include IO stream using namespace std, which basically just means using the standard library. Input output stream is the IO stream. Int main is your main function, which is basically everything that the program always ends with the main function. Return 0, that's just the program saying it's ending. It ends right here. These semicolons, which means that the statement of this line ends right here. A float is a number variable, type, and it represents a decimal number, a number with a decimal. And an int is a number variable that represents a whole number that can be negative or positive. Cn is the user input. So to get input from the user, and cout can also be used to output variables and cn.get, you do not need cstd_lib, and I did put it in the annotation and under the in the comment section, and I really apologize. I sincerely apologize for saying that. But as a programmer, you guys need to know that when you're programming, it's really hard to know everything, and it's really hard to remember everything, and that's why a lot of programmers, while they program, they keep a book. They either keep a book or documentation about the certain library and the names of everything with them, because while programming, you're not gonna know everything, and I probably it's almost guaranteed that you're not gonna know every single thing that you really want to code. So that's I apologize for being but I corrected it in a lot of ways. So hopefully you guys saw that, and I had turn on the annotations in the comments, like at the top, so you guys should have saw that. All right, so we're gonna wrap up with this. This guy, I was watching a documentary on Jonathan Blow, and he was talking about him and his beliefs in games, and I disagree with to an extent, not all, like just a little bit of what he said, but then he started talking more, and I started agreeing with him. And a person, this YouTuber, on the comments, he said he didn't agree with him, and I found that actually surprising, and I really wanted to know why he didn't agree with him. So, and because I wanted to know, because we're making a game at our in our company right now, and also post in the comments for what you think that the game idea should be. The best game idea will be put into a game, and maybe you guys will be the person who made the game idea will be commended for it and shown for the game, and actually have the game before the game is actually put up for a link. So he said that he didn't agree with anything that they said. Anything that he said, I don't know if it was anything. He just said he didn't agree with him, and I wanted to know why. So I said, if you could please tell me why that is. And he took offense to it at first, and I know, because I wouldn't be as harsh as he was, but I would have probably been like, why is this guy all up in my business? I just said this to be said. So he said, why don't you get out of my business? So I wanted to clarify. I wanted to say this was not supposed to be anything bad. I wasn't trying to be a troll or anything, but I just really want to know, because since the fact that I'm creating a game and you don't agree with something, that means you have a different view than a lot of people, and that's rare. And so if I can get your view, then that means I can make the game that I'm creating right now closer to you and closer to everybody else at the same time, so that you can actually and I really do. I'm a person who wants to get both sides of the argument, and sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm one-sided, and I hate when that happens. But I mean, sometimes you just can't help it. But I want to get both sides of the argument. So tell me in the comments how I should have taken that, and that's what I said. I said, I apologize for if I sounded wrong or anything, but I really just want to hear your opinion. And I said basically what I said a couple seconds ago, and then he stated afterwards. He said, I don't care about your game, blah 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 blah. I don't really want to say it, and I mean, I guess I took him out of his uncomfort zone, and I'm okay with that. I mean, I'm not gonna force anybody to tell me their goals. So I just said thank you for and thank you anyway. I apologize if I made you feel mad or anything. I didn't mean to. So tell me how I should have taken that. I don't know. I kind of felt a little mad that, I mean, after he said that, not mad, just a little sad, I guess, because I was really looking forward to his comment and him saying what it is. But I'm just being a whiny little person, and that probably doesn't mean anything. So thank you for watching this C++ tutorial. If you have any questions, please put it in the comments below. If you have any ideas for a video game, put them in the comments below, and I will use them, and I will put your name up in the game, and you will get the game first. And also go to my website, which will also be in the comments section below. And thank you for watching. This has been Decoris Chadwick from HKO Tech, and keep watching. I mean, I'm trying to do the series so that you guys can learn as much as possible, as much as I wanted to learn, and I want to put every single thing inside these videos. And if I miss something, tell me, ask me. No, there's no such thing as a stupid question. I will cover it. I'm not a mean person, and I won't snap at you. I do not bite. And actually, if anything, if I were a dog, I'd be a toothless dog, because I'm a pacifist, and I go against violence. That was not really needed, but I said it anyway. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to teaching you guys again.